Time to start Deadpool. Who's going to be the first Trump cabinet member shown the door? My vote is now for Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary, wannabe Treasury Secretary, wannabe, I don't know what, Vice President. Howard Lutnick came out of Cantor Fitzgerald, but now he's probably heading for the exit as Liberation Day on Wednesday, where Donald Trump gets to announce the half-baked, crazy tariff plan of Howard Lutnick. When that ends up happening, the only one that may be liberated is Howard Lutnick from his job. I'm Michael Popok. You're here on Legal AF to put on that Wall Street hat of mine and talk about Howard Lutnick. You probably never thought much about Howard Lutnick before when he ran Cantor Fitzgerald, a mid-sized brokerage iBank in New York. It was the equivalent of, in terms of where it stood in the pecking order of Wall Street, sort of middling, sort of the equivalent of where Donald Trump stood on the pecking order of real estate developers and licensors in New York. Middling. That's why the middlings got together. Howard Lutnick threw his lot in with Donald Trump early on, became his transition co-chair, pushed hard for the job of Treasury Secretary. We heard there was a knife fight that broke out. And at the end, he lost to Scott Bessent, who Wall Street said they were more comfortable with as Treasury Secretary, and Howard's never let him forget it. I defy you to find a photo of Howard Lutnick. We're going to put a bunch up right now where his mouth's not open. He is a self-promoter of the first order. He would make P.T. Barnum blush. I'll put it that way. And how long do you think that was going to work in the Trump administration? So he was going to go on the morning talk shows on Sunday morning talk shows this past week in advance of Liberation Day. I am sure he got grounded. I am sure, because then you had, Major Garrett have to get up and say, we were expecting to have Howard Lutnick here, but he is no longer available. He is no longer available because insiders are now reporting that he's on beyond thin ice. One insider for Donald Trump, and this is from Politico as well as the New York Post, owned by Rupert Murdoch. One insider said he's like a mosquito at a nudist colony, and not in a good way. He said another person said he's a loose cannon with half-baked ideas that keeps him pushing aggressive, insane shit onto Donald Trump, especially around tariffs. I don't even know why Lutnick is being heard on tariffs at all. He's not an economist. He did not run a business where tariffs were part of his remit. He's just an amateur fiscal policy analyst. He's not running a thought bubble. He's not running a thought experiment or a tabletop exercise at a retreat for executives for Cantor Fitzgerald. He's screwing around with our economy without, it's like saying, hey, I'm in row 26E in the back and I was trying to find a bathroom. Would you mind if I fly the plane? I mean, come on. It's the last person you'd want pushing his crazy ideas on Trump. But Trump, look, if you're a loyalist, and there's nobody more loyal than Howard Lutnick, but he's starting to rub everyone the wrong way, says reporting. I don't know when it started. It may have started when he took the stage at Madison Square Garden during a rally right before the election, and it became just a moment of high energy self-aggrandizing and self-promotion like I've never seen. Here's a clip.
Hello, New York! I mean, it was not on my bucket list, okay? People like me do not get to play Madison Square Garden. This place rocks!
Or maybe it's when he went on. He was standing behind the president, and the Trump was handing out, I don't know, "Make America Great" hats or whatever he was doing, and a very uncomfortable looking Robert Kennedy was standing there, and then Trump was jostling with the reporters, and Howard Lutnick said, "Always agree with the president. You always agree with the president." Let's run that clip.
Always say yes to the president. Would anybody like one?
Mr. President, an easy question.
Or maybe it was when he was on television recently, about a week or so ago, looking all calm, cool, tan, ready, and rested. He shoots his cuffs. He's sitting there with his legs folded, talking to somebody there in the section of the White House. And he says, my mother-in-law gets Social Security. All right, well, that's why. Your mother-in-law needs her $1,500 a month to support herself. That sounds like something you should turn back to the American government to save money. Don't you think that? But he also said at that same clip, which we'll run in a second, he also said, you can catch a fraudster. We'll just shut off the spigots of Social Security and see who squeals. And whoever squeals is the fraudster. I mean, that's my interpretation.
Let's say Social Security didn't send out their checks this month. My mother-in-law, who's 94, she wouldn't call and complain. She just wouldn't. She'd think something got messed up, and she'll get it next month.
Yeah.
A fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining. And all the guys who did PayPal, like Elon knows this by heart, right? Anybody who's been in the payment system and the process system knows the easiest way to find the fraudster is to stop payments and listen.
Yeah.
Because whoever screams is the one stealing.
He doesn't do well. That hasn't stopped him. He's a promoter. Look at me. I'm Howard Lutnick. I'm on CNBC. Look at me. I'm pushing my thought bubble. It's not a thought bubble. It's the American economy. And when it goes awry on Liberation Day, I don't know if you've heard, Liberation Day is when Donald Trump's going to announce a new round of tariffs, because the first round of tariff and the tariff wars that he lost, it was pummeled by Canada, by Mexico, by China. They went so well that he's going to do it all over again and beat himself with both ends of the stick. That's like a 98-pound weakling getting his ass kicked on the bus stop by the linebacker captain of the football team. And the next week going back out there and says, let's do it again. I mean, seriously. And all kidding aside, because I'll cry otherwise, it's the American economy. Stupid. It's our kitchen table issues. It's our wallet and our purse. It's not a tabletop exercise when you brought in some coordinator, some facilitator to talk to your senior executives. Give it a rest. And I'll tell you who's going to end up giving it a rest. All knives simultaneously are going to turn on Howard Lutnick when this tariff thing sends the economy further into a tailspin. We're already at the lowest confidence of consumer confidence in ratings in the last 4 years. We're already at the lowest level of manufacturers' confidence in the last 4 or 5 years. We had the worst quarter in the stock market in about 5 years. Oh, remember Joe Biden? I'm so nostalgic for Joe Biden and his administration and the competency of it. But now look what we've got. So I knew, if I wasn't sure about whether he was going to be, if I was going to put my Deadpool bet on Lutnick, all I needed to read was when they trotted out, not even Carolyn Levitt. He doesn't even get the press secretary to defend him. He gets the B team. He gets JV, Kush Desai, who's another spokesperson for the Trump administration you've never heard of, who said in response to the reporting about the knives are out internally for Howard Lutnick, having lost all those things I talked about. He says every member of the Trump administration is aligned on finally leveling the playing field for American industries and workers. They're leveling something. It's my bank account. President Trump has assembled the best and the brightest trade team in modern American history to reignite American greatness, and they're all following the same playbook. Doesn't that sound like exactly what the owner of a sports team would say when the next week he fires the coach and then the coach takes the microphone and says, well, I need to spend more time with my family. Wait to I need to spend more time with my family from Howard Lutnick. I mean, he's not yet done sort of lining his pockets with everything you get, all the goodies, all the swag bag that comes with being a secretary in the cabinet. The wife just got named to the Kennedy Center board, all this other stuff. So, but he may not make it past 2025. So the sons who took over Cantor Fitzgerald, the 28, 29-year-old, 30-year-old, get ready. I hope you didn't occupy that corner office. Daddy's coming back soon. At least that's my prediction. And I'm here on Legal AF. Take a moment, hit the subscribe button, help us continue to grow this Democracy Channel. I'm Michael Popok. And I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.